Welcome to Handcrafted by G.R. Broussard. I'm Greg Broussard. And today we have the pleasure of working on these oak chairs. We have two stretchers that need to be turned, replaced. We have to repair this leg. And on this one at the top, we have a little veneer that needs to be repaired. We need to turn two new stretchers for this. I think the leg on this one's fine. And it's just sitting in there right now. It comes out really easily, so we'll turn two new stretchers for him, and we will fix the veneer on this one, and that will complete the repair on both these chairs. Of course, we'll clean them up a little bit for him. I have my lathe set up, and I was just doing a test piece, and I think I've got everything right. I'm using the duplicator feature on this. This is a follower, and this is the cutter. And this is going to write against the original part, and it's going to cut and make a duplicate of our new part here. I came and took the corners off of this on the table saw, and it was square, but it's challenging for me to get the square off without chipping the wood. So it's a little bit easier to cut it like this. So we're going to go ahead and get this round, and then we're going to start duplicating this part with the duplicator. I maxed out how far my duplicator can go. So now I'm going to put the tool rest back on, and I'm going to finish this by hand. I made this longer on purpose, and then we'll sneak up on this with hand tools. This is the original part. I'm going to mark on here where the joint starts and where the joint ends. And I'm going to turn it over because this one's broken, and I'll mark the same thing where the joint starts and where the joint ends. And I'll put my line there so I'll know exactly to be super careful. And then I'll go ahead and cut this since this is set up, and we'll use the calipers to make sure that we don't screw this up. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, and we'll cut these joints with the tenon. Let's sand this thing. Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay. So that's one, and we have to cut this at an angle, you know, looks like a stop sign kind of thing. Put it back on here before we take our original part off the duplicator jig, and we'll duplicate another part. I got the depth of the tenon with the caliper. Now I'm going to cut it to length. We're going to come in with the tenoner. I've already got the depth set and the size set. So we're going to size the tenon. I've got a dry fit, looks pretty good. Everything goes together. A little tweaking and peeking here. I still need to inspect the hole where the leg goes into the base of the chair. And I think that's it. Final sanding and just little adjustments. And the new parts seem to work just fine. Clean it up and we're done. I'm set up to do the color matching, and this is my color matching test piece here. And I'm going to go with this here, which is this finish here that I had mixed up last night at Lowe's. We're going to go with some Mohawk Charter Oak to shade it just a tiny bit, and some shellac. So we've got it, I think, pretty dang close, this one here. So we're going to go with that. I've made this little jig just to hold my parts, and we're going to stain these, let that dry, and then put some shellac on it, and we should be pretty good with this. So let's see what kind of results we get. Here's a pro tip for you. We take this off the top of these things, just set it straight down, don't flip it. Then you won't get all the stuff that goes up around the rim over there. I just use a paper towel to apply my product, and as simple as this, just wipe it on. And we will wait till this to dry. And now that I set this thing straight down, you don't gonna have any runs on it, and now you don't have that splatter that comes around the rim. That's how I do it without keeping it a disaster, keeping it from a disaster. While the spindle's dry, I'm gonna clean up some of the excess glue. This actually looks like maybe some kind of silicone. So now we need to inspect this hole. So this fits in here like that. And I think that's going to fail again. So we have to do something with this hole. Let's figure out how we're going to fix that. It's missing a lot of meat there. Let's see what happens. Let's orient this the way it's supposed to be, which would be here. I'm gonna tap this in. This part's broken. I think what we're gonna have to do, that's kind of loose. This is missing a lot here. I'm gonna build this up just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to fix this break there, and of course we have to put glue underneath there. So I've cut a patch, and I'm going to put this patch in there to fix this. And this is going to be a little challenging to do. I've got some double-sided sticky tape right here. It's like carpet tape, and it's great for doing stuff like this. It's a lot easier to use your patch as a guide to cut your hole rather than cut the hole and try to make a patch fit to it. So, and I cleaned the area off for glue, and I just feel as though that we need to do something in this area to make it a lot stronger. We need to go a little bit farther up than that. It'll help keep it down so I can razor around it. Get me a decent line. Add a little bit more structure to the leg. And replace that broken part. I'll get in front of the camera for a second. Replace the broken part in there. And we'll chisel that out. Okay. So we're going to start taking this area out that I just razor bladed. I'm not going to go on my razor line just yet. I'm just going to start removing some of the material away from my razor line. Start getting some of this stuff out of here. So that we try. I have to take a look at this. There we go. The new stretchers are dry, so I'm going to apply some shellac, and that should bring it to this color here. Now I'm just going to very lightly get the little rough spots off with some steel wool. It's a little rough from the first initial spray. This is 4/0 steel wool. And we'll just come through very lightly. We don't want to start removing color. We just want to get rid of those rough spots on there. It looks like it's working really well. This is the original color. And this is the color we have right here. You can see it's matched more closely, but I've got it's too rough. So we're going to come out with the Mohawk Charter Oak and just change the color ever so slightly before we put another coat of shellac. This should give the final color to these guys. One more shellac and this will be complete. This should match. Should match. I think that's it. While this craziness dries here, we have to pull our attention to the veneer, and I'm going to attempt to make the veneer. And this is the same material we made our parts from, our spindles. Our stretchers. We made it out of this. So we're going to do the same for here. So I'm going to get the width that I need and cut a piece and see what happens. We're going to cut it wide on purpose and trim it later. I mean, that's super extra wide. So I'm going to cut this right here. I need to put the zero clearance insert in since we're cutting a super thin strip. And while we're in here, we might as well cut 2 or 3 of them because you never know what's going to happen. Might mess one up. I thought I'd try something new for veneer. I do make veneer on this machine. However, the problem is when this spins, when you get real close, it starts hitting this bottom part here. So I made sure that this board was flat. I'm going to put my veneer pieces on top of this board, and this will act as a spacer. And then I'm thinking maybe I can cut veneer from there. Let's find out if it works. One piece already moved. So let's try it this way. I'll hold it. There we go, this will work. I finished cutting the 2 pieces of veneer, and I'm going to attach this, and I made this little clamping jig, and I'm not sure if it's perfect enough to fit, but it's, yeah, this probably will go on there with 2 pieces, with a piece of veneer in there. We got to hold that on there and clamp it really tight. So we're going to find the grain that works the best for the top of this chair, and we're going to apply veneer to the top. I'm going to cut this at a 45. It'll help camouflage the seam. And I'm just going to do light passes and slowly sink my blade into it. Okay, I think that's through. Now we're going to start coming through and removing all this old stuff. Just to be able to control this a little bit better, what I'm going to do, because the veneer goes all the way over here, I don't want to peel this up and peel it all the way down accidentally if something weird happens. So I'm just going to score me a line here for safety so I can stop my veneer removal if I were to mess something up. Really easy. I want to know where on my new piece of veneer am I going to stop. It looks like around here somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this at a 45. I'm going to mark it on here. I'm not going to go to the end because the end's kind of messed up. I'll just kind of mark where 45 goes so I won't get disoriented. And we'll take this, carry this down to about right here. And we're going to mark this the same angle as this other one. So it kind of gives me an idea of where to stop on this side. I'm going to make sure my veneer is flush against my 45. I'm going to cut the veneer just little light passes. We'll slowly go through it. All right, let's see how that fits. Okay, that looks good. All right, I think this is going to work. So when we cut this other side, we'll have to cut the 2 pieces together. Stop here, right here. I started cutting this at a 45. This is the line that I need to go to, but I'm afraid if I wrap this on top of this other material that's there, it's not going to give me a true reading. So I'm taking some of it off. Hopefully that'll be enough. And I can get in there. Look at that. There. I can clamp this all the way to here. Got the patch. It's going to be a booger bear to get in there. I'm just going to come in with the card scraper, clean the surface of this old glue. And we'll glue the veneer down. The way that I'm going to glue this on here is with a combination of super glue, some super glue accelerant, and some Type Bond number 2. I think that's the way to go. And with clamps, I think that's the good method to do this. So we will apply some of the Type Bond glue. Actually, yes, this is right here. We need this up here fast right here. And that's Type Bond. Well, we think we've done it wrong. Okay. So I'm going to press on the right left. Put some on here. Ready? Ready? There we go. We have a little bit here, so we're going to use more super glue. Type Bond. That's all right. Now, just ready. There we go. You got Type Bond here. We'll super glue. Type Bond. Don't hold this top. I think what I'm going to do is just finish it out because I don't want to glue quick. Get this in here. We're going to glue in here. I should do that. I'm going to let this dry for a few more minutes before I put this on. I want it kind of set up a little bit. And while that's doing that, we're back to this part of this other chair. We have to plane this down and make all this nice and ready for the leg to go in. I'm going to take it down with a number 3, Stanley number 3. And we will take it to the surface. There, that looks 1,000 times better now. Now that leg should go in there just fine. I think it goes just like that. I can already tell there's a lot more strength. I'm not going to hammer on it any more than that. Have to make little braces to clamp it, and I need a little groove. So I'll show you how this works. So when I start putting the leg together, I'm going to have to clamp this. And it's hard to clamp on something that's round and oddly shaped like this. So I put a groove in there, made this flat so I can clamp here and on the other side. Because I'm going to have to squish the leg together. Time to glue it up. this chair gets the gravity clamp for the leg. This thing went together really well. And those are the new parts. Looks really awesome. So we're gonna let this sit overnight, not even mess with it. It doesn't wobble. It came together really nice. So we're just gonna let this sit overnight on clamps. And I probably will clean the glue up off the glue squeeze out while it's still a little wet. So wait about 30 minutes and it's easier to get off. It's kind of rubbery kind of. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wait. I went ahead and took all the clamps off and put the paper towel on there so it gives equal pressure. It was pretty smooth, but plus we don't want to scar up the new material we just put on. So we're gonna see how this works. We'll wait till the morning and then we should be able to clean this up and color it. I've come in and I put Timbermate on the connections to fill in the little bitty gap that's there. I know it looks crazy right now, but it'll look a lot better. And I'm just going to come in with the extra that's coming off the side here, and I'm just going to use my shoulder plane and just be very cautious of which way the direction is the grain's going. And we're going to remove the extra just like this, nice and easy. There's just a little gap underneath here. I probably don't need to use this because I still haven't sanded and shaped this yet, but just in case, if there's any kind of like little void in there, this will get in there and fill it when I get this exactly shaped. It looks pretty good right there. We're gonna let this dry for a little bit. Camouflage this seam a little bit more. You see how this grain is going? I just scratch in, be mindful of where the seam is, and I will make my artificial grain, because oak's got some deep grain to it. And then when I start filling this in, when I put the stain on here and start coloring it, this grain is going to continue on through the part. You'll still see the seam a little bit. You'll see the seam, but with these scratches that I'm putting in here, it's going to appear that the grain goes all the way through to the next part. Now we're going to hit this just with a little bit of the steel wool, smooth it out a little bit, and then come back with the Mohawk. Same product we used on the spindles. Now that the chairs are done, I'm going to come in here with one of these little furniture coloring marker deals, and I'm just going to dress it up a little bit, as I always do. Just come in and make it look a little bit better for the customer. It's still broken veneer, but I'll color it so it's not so prominent. Veneer turned out really nice on this chair, and 2 spindles turned out really nice on this one. Got it all fitted into the leg. Turn those 2. I finished both the chairs. We've got the 2 spindles and the leg repaired on that. We've got the veneer fixed on this one. Turned out really nice.